This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for starting your weekend with us. I'm Brittany Folkers. Topping headlines this morning, anti-war protesters gather in downtown Portland as tensions escalate between the U.S. and Iran. Why demonstrators are making their voices heard in the wake of a U.S. strike on one of Iran's top military leaders. Plus, a Muslim student becomes the target of a disturbing hate crime. Now the search is on for the woman accused of desecrating the student's hijab in a brazen attack. But let's start things off with a check on your forecast with Vanessa Paz. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Brittany. Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is it's Saturday. It's the start of the week. And the bad news is we're not going to see a fully dry day for the next 7 days. And I'll get more into that in my full forecast. But right now, we do have a series of fronts, or as the National Weather Service called it, a parade of fronts kind of coming through. And it's going to keep us wet, but also give us some sun breaks in between. Now, last night, we saw about half an inch of rain in the Portland metro area. We will build on that as we get towards your weekend. Here's a live look at the government camp area because, of course, if the valley is getting rain, the Cascades are, of course, getting some snow there. So as we transition to some of the junctions around the Cascade passes there, you can see the fresh snow continuing to fall down, and it will continue through the weekend. So we do have a winter weather advisory in effect through the Cascades until the morning time. So just be mindful of that if you have to travel through there. In the meantime, in the valley, showers with sun breaks with highs in lower 40s. Very similar conditions for your Sunday. It will be a little warmer though. And I will let you know what the rest of next week looks like and then how much snow we're actually expected to get. That's all ahead.
All right, thanks so much, Vanessa. And topping our news this morning, growing tensions in the Middle East are being felt right here at home. Last night, hundreds of people gathered in downtown Portland to protest U.S. drone strikes that killed one of Iran's top military leaders. Our Catherine Cook was there with the demonstrators who are fiercely opposed to America starting another war in the region.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Jerry Strunk Plaza in downtown Portland is 2,350 miles from the White House.
5, 6, 7, 8.
But to those gathered here Friday night,
We will not cooperate.
that didn't matter.
We'll do anything to stop the Trump administration escalating this into a full-blown war.
Mark McLeod is one of the dozens compelled to protest the U.S. drone strike in Iraq ordered by President Trump. The target? Top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, killed, among others, leaving the Baghdad airport.
I knew from the moment I heard about this last night that it was a terrible, terrible thing.
President Trump calls it a victory. The U.S. officially classified Soleimani as a terrorist, holding him responsible for covert operations that killed hundreds of U.S. troops in Iraq after the 2003 invasion.
Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel. But we caught him in the act and terminated him.
Many in Iran hailed Soleimani as a hero. Thousands gathered to show their love for the fallen general and their anger against Americans. Some fear this week's events will trigger another conflict in the Middle East.
If we're not out here shouting stuff, who will?
Justin Allen joined the Navy after 9/11. Looking back now, he sees the Iraq War differently.
And we just kept sending more and more kids off to die. And I don't want that to happen again because this guy in the White House needs a news cycle distraction from all the crimes him and his friends keep committing.
The president responded to similar criticism with his own clarification.
Soleimani made the death of innocent people his sick passion. We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war.
And that was Catherine Cook reporting for us. Now you can find more on the growing tensions between the U.S. and Iran at KGW.com, including President Trump's explanation of why this recent strike happened. In other news we're following today, new DNA evidence is linking a suspected serial killer to the death of a Clark County teen 45 years ago. Warren Forrest was convicted in the mid-70s of killing a 19-year-old. He has long been suspected in the murders of 6 other women who disappeared around that same time. 17-year-old Martha Morrison from Portland went missing in 1974. It wasn't until 2015 that her remains were identified. Her DNA matched a sample found on one of Forrest's weapons. He's expected to appear in Clark County Court on Monday and be charged in her death. The Search is on for a woman accused of committing a disturbing hate crime in downtown Portland. A warrant is out for Jasmine Campbell after she failed to show up for her court hearing yesterday. Campbell allegedly went up to a PSU student near a downtown Max stop. The student is a Muslim woman from Saudi Arabia who wears a hijab. We're told that Campbell grabbed the hijab and tried choking the student with it. Police say Campbell then stripped down and rubbed the hijab all over her bare body. Many in the Muslim community are demanding Campbell be caught and prosecuted.
It's not okay. We are out here just trying to live our life, and our faith is a part of that life. And for us to live in fear that we will be targeted because of that faith, that important essence of our being, is not okay.
And the woman who was attacked said she's now afraid to wear her hijab in public. Campbell is facing hate crimes, among other charges. Anyone with information on where she is should contact Portland police. Now to North Plains, where family and friends are not giving up the search for 20-year-old Allison Watterson. She was last seen before Christmas. And even though the official search is over, her loved ones went over 60 acres of private property yesterday.
We as a family we feel as if we need to do everything we can. I can't just sit around and not do something. I just can't.
Watterson was last seen with her boyfriend Benjamin Garland on December 22nd. At some point they got separated and Garland's father reported her missing on the 23rd. Garland was later arrested on charges not related to her disappearance. Back here in Portland, this woman is suing the Residence Inn by Marriott for racial discrimination. Felicia Gonzalez says she was forced to sign a no party policy when she checked in last January. She signed it, but says it didn't sit well with her. So she watched other people check in. She says white guests were not asked to sign the same policy.
People should not be treated this way. Everyone should be treated equally. And if there's policies that are set in place for all guests and customers, then that should be applied to all, not to just certain individuals.
Gonzalez is suing for $300,000. Marriott says it can't comment on the case, but strives to provide an environment where all people feel welcome. We also reached out to the company that operates the hotel, but no one got back to us. Homeless people in Salem are criticizing city leadership for failing to open new shelter beds. 140 of them were supposed to be available by the new year, but that hasn't happened. There's demand for them since Salem enacted a policy last month banning people from setting up tents on sidewalks and public property. City leaders say they're working on making those beds available.
We're housing the hardest to house. We're working with our community partners, our nonprofit partners, to expand day center capacity.
The pain is about an 8 or 9. Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yeah, and if I take pain pills, it knocks me out.
That man that you just heard from there is, of course, sleeping on the streets and says without a tent to keep him warm, he got frostbite on his toes. On his tarp, he's written "Shame on Mayor Bennett." Warming shelters do open when temperatures drop below freezing. City officials say no one is turned away from those cold weather shelters. Oregon's plastic bag ban is now in effect, but one of our viewers saw what looked like plastic bags being used at Walmart. They asked us to verify if the store is violating the state law. So we found out Walmart actually considers its bags reusable and recommends shoppers wash them and bring them on their next trip. According to the new law, reusable plastic bags are not banned, but stores have to charge customers at least 5 cents per bag. Walmart has been expanding sales of those reusable bags all across the country. The bags are made from recycled plastic and have a smaller carbon footprint than most single-use bags. And if you see something that you want us to verify, just send an email to verify@kgw.com.